Namespaces are a common idea in many programming languages, and PHP has had them since PHP 5.3. To some developers, they still feel a little new, so let's take a look at how they work. The basic idea of using namespaces is to ensure that two different classes, functions, or constants with the same name do not cause conflicts. For example, if you try to define two classes called client, then the second definition will cause a fatal error complaining that you cannot redefine that class. If instead you put that class into a namespace, you can refer to both of them differently. Let's take a look at how that works with some code. Before we get started, pay no attention to line 4, as I'll explain about display errors later on. So on line 7, we are including a third-party piece of code that has been placed in the source folder, which handles HTTP interactions. On line 8, we're including another third-party piece of code, which will help us interact with the Twitter API. Sadly, the developer of both the HTTP code and the Twitter code has not used namespaces and instead declared the classes into global namespace. Now we have these two client classes, which looks a little funny, and will throw an error when we try and run the preview. So you can see here, they've had trouble redeclaring the class client because there's already a class called client. If we have a look at the code, we can see how to fix this. If we go into the source folder and inside the HTTP folder and look at the client, you can see here that there's no namespace declaration. Now a namespace declaration is simply the word namespace and then the name. If we save that, and we do the same thing to Twitter, and save that too. Now when we run this, PHP gives us a different error. The complaint here is the class client does not exist, which is completely true. Now the class client is not being defined in the global space, it has to be referenced with a namespace. Let's go back to our workspace and try that out. So if we remember the names of our namespaces, which were HTTP, we type that in, and we use a backslash to dereference it. Do the same for Twitter. And now we've referenced our two different client classes correctly with their namespaces, so PHP knows where to find that code. If we run this again, we can see that two objects, HTTP client and Twitter client, have been created. We can further improve this code by using autoloading, and that's what we'll do in the next lesson.